Hi everyone, this is Paul Cooper with Totes and I'm bringing you your 12th Note Nugget Minute. And on this episode, we're going to go over the different exit strategies that are involved with a non-performing note. So the first exit strategy would be to get the note to re-perform, and that basically would be they just start making payments. And the second one would be a loan modification, and that's where you and the borrower agree to modify the loan and come up with some new terms. And the third exit strategy would be to REO, to sell the property. That's a real estate owned property, which means the banks now owns it. And you're usually going to get that back through some type of foreclosure or something else. But this is where you have the property back and you're just going to look to sell it. The next strategy is going to be cash for keys or deed in lieu. And that's where you're going to get the property back by having the borrower either deed it back to you or give up their right to it legally. And sometimes you'll need to give them some money to do this, but it can be a very good strategy to get the property back without having to ruin their credit or go through a lengthy foreclosure. The next strategy would be to foreclose on the property. Hopefully you're not having to do this too often, but it does happen, and that's where you're going to take legal action to get the property back and get the borrower out. The next good strategy would be to wholesale the note. You could do a quick flip, you could buy it and then buy it for a really cheap price and then find another buyer and sell it to them for a small spread. The next strategy is to sell a re-performing note. And what you do in this case is after the note's performed for 6 to 12 months and it's now classified as a performing note, you can sell it and it should be worth significantly more than what you paid for it as a non-performer. The next strategy would be to turn the property into a rental if you got the property back, whether it was through cash for keys, deed in lieu, or foreclosure. You can now turn the property into a rental if you wanted to. Another strategy you can do if you get the property back is to put a new borrower in there and write a new note. This could be a CFD or a mortgage depending on the area that you're in and what makes the most sense for you and the borrower. Another strategy you're not going to see too often is basically a sub-2 strategy where you let someone come in and assume the payments of the note. You need to be very careful if you do this, because if you're going to let that borrower off the hook, then you need to make sure that the new borrower that's taking over can actually pay, because there's no point trading one borrower for another borrower if they're both bad. And then the last strategy we're going to talk about is a short sale, and that's basically where you would let the homeowner sell the property for less than what's owed. And you can approve that pretty easily since you're the bank. And so in those cases, you're usually buying at a significant discount anyways because it's non-performing. So you can usually afford to give up some of the unpaid balance in a short sale and still come out making a very good profit, especially since the borrower's probably not going to trash the place now because you're basically doing them a favor. And that's it for exit strategies for non-performing notes. We'll have some more videos upcoming that'll show more detail, but hopefully that got the wheels spinning and you at least now have a basic idea of the different exit strategies that are involved or could be involved with a non-performing note.